I'm an intellectual. I'm an intellectual. I'm an intellectual.
Pull up in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate. Choppers a throwaway. Hustle the overweight. That's why they follow me, huh? They think I know the way. Cause I took control of things. Ballin' the solo way. And if you pattern my trend.
Yo, what's going on, people? It's your boy Kim.
Niggas don't know them days. Take you in back of the
Welcome back to the FYI podcast.
Take you across the tracks. Make you explode the face. Now you official now.
Thanks for tuning in from wherever you're at during this quarantine. Everybody's inside for the most part. Everything's minimal. We're just trying to get through this. Appreciate everybody who's been tuning in, everybody who's been supporting, everybody who's been sending love, everybody who's been interacting during this time. Just grateful for life. Quality of life might not be what everybody wants right now, but you do have life. So why not celebrate it somehow, some way, by being grateful for another day. You feel me? Today I wanted to talk a little bit about figuring it all out during this time. And when I say figuring it all out, I'm talking about the intentionality of using your silence, using this time that we're in. It's an unprecedented time, man. I can easily say top two craziest things that happened in my lifetime would probably be, and when I say craziest things, I mean there's things that's happened to me that's been crazy, but I'm just talking about like worldwide magnitude type of things. Obviously, 9/11 and everything that came with that. I was in 7th grade. So I remember that pretty distinctly. And this Corona, man, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, it's very interesting that you can see the economy be crippled. You can see fear. I think that's the most unfortunate part. I think a lot of people are living in fear. Even more so than normal, just being afraid to go outside, being afraid to touch something, being afraid to just exist. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody is afraid to die, and it sucks. But I think if you're really outside of the difficulties, I'm not here to say, I'm not here to preach, everything's perfect during this time. I'm not here to like really just overly sensationalize. It is what it is. It's what we got to deal with. So why not figure out the things that matter while we have this time, while we have this opportunity, because it's not going to be forever. And we do know that, as things pick back up, even if I do believe there's going to be some remains and some leftover effects of this moving forward, whether it has to do with social distancing or whether it has to do with self-sufficiency, as we've gotten back to a lot of cooking and spending time and all of that. But yeah, we just have to find the positives in all of it. So and I'm just going to speak for me and when I post it, I would love to hear what y'all have been doing. But I'm just going to talk about some of the ways that I've been trying to stay deliberate in all of this. Being deliberate is something that is one of the most crucial and underrated things. Why? Because life comes at you fast, and a lot of the time we can't navigate the noise of life, right? And a lot of the time the noise of life has become excuses for us to not deliberately do certain things. For example, let's say start of your morning. For me now, and I've tried to do it. I've talked about this in the podcast before, where starting my mornings. The start of my morning or the start of your morning start should be deliberate. Why? It's setting the tone. It's setting the precedence for the rest of the day. With that being said, a lot of people, of course, you try to sleep till your alarm goes off. Then you hop up, you take a shower, you do the things that you probably built a system for to quickly get yourself out the house. This differs and differentiates between people if you're single, if you have kids, all that kind of stuff. So your system might be different. It might be simple. It might be more complex just because of how many people that's involved in it. But for me, hey man, I try to slowly start the morning with something edifying by reading. I have to pray. Once in a while, you get started late or something and you have to pray on the fly, but I try to make sure that I could slowly start that day. That's important for me. Having that time with God and being able to really just ask for guidance throughout the day, no matter what I do, meditating, and that, as I said, now we can probably have more tangible silence, and it's a little slower, so you probably have a little more time to fit that in. But during my regular days, I try to stay as still as I can initially. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just being deliberately silent, letting your mind get ready for the day, stretching, reading, something edifying as well, figuring that out, helping yourself get in to a frame of mind where the rest of your day, whether it's good or bad, and when I say good or bad, you can't control what happens during the day outside of what you can control. So there's going to be random things that come up, but for the most part, if you can start your day right, then it sets you up for chance of a more successful day. I think as well that COVID has helped us become more self-sufficient. So we're doing a lot more cooking at home now. The restaurants are shut down, or they're open but limited. They're not. You can't go outside and sit down and eat. You can't go to a bar and have a drink. You can't. The things we take for granted. Yo, you hit your homie up. Yo, let's go grab a bite. Da da da. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff right now is not going on. So at home, you whipping. You whip it. You up in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's chefing. I'd be excited to see, everybody's lives and stories when they say, hey, cook this today, cook that today. And I've been on my shit too. I've been cooking as much as I can. Trying to just work on the craft, add new things to your resume or your repertoire as it applies to cooking, and it's good. It helps you, it helps you know what you're ingesting in your body. It helps you keep track of the good, the bad. It helps stretch it out for a couple more days, because now when you cook, most of us, especially if you're from the Caribbean, we cook more than just for myself or for me and Clee or vice versa. Like, you won't cook like in a big pot. If you cook some rice, you ain't cooking like, maybe a little tiny pot of rice. Nah, you're gonna cook a good size pot of rice. You're gonna cook a decent size, some meat or whatever. So you could put that in the fridge. You could have that for leftover, for the next day or whatever. So that helps you save some money. So, in the whole ideology to me, and when I'm thinking about it, I'm recognizing that this is stuff that if you do it on a regular, like if we really like being deliberate about certain things, and yeah, not having enough time is a valid excuse, but we make time for what we want. So hopefully time management, that's a segue to my next point. Time management. Hopefully that's something that we are learning to become better with as we've, been forced to slow down. Scheduling things. That's something I have to become better at. If I had to be honest with myself, I probably, and I'm turning 30 this year, so probably for me, living on the fly was my thing, winging it. Outside of the things we have to do for work and stuff, that deadlines and all that kind of stuff, for me, I used to love to live on the fly. And you fit in where you could fit in, and at the end of the day, hey, I didn't get to that. Okay, well, I'll do it tomorrow or whatever. That's something that we really have to work on, and we really have to be deliberate about. Time management to me also includes touching bases with those you love. And COVID-19 for me really has become about not paying attention to what doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, it's wasted space, it's wasted matter in your mind. It's it's taking up worry, it's taking up whatever it's doing to you. Don't waste time on what doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Those who you love, reach out to them. My new thing now is, if I think about you, I'm gonna do my best to send a text immediately. Like if I just think about you, like randomly, like, and it might not be random, it just might be literally the universe and God telling you, yo, check on this person. And a lot of the time, because we're so busy in life, it's a quick excuse. Damn. Man, I forgot to hit such and such. And then maybe they might hit you. You'll be like, yo, I just think about you yesterday, But why didn't you hit them yesterday? Right? We gotta be more deliberate about communicating and staying in contact with our people. One thing for me, I could say, even me and my father, we've been speaking more during this time, and that's a cool thing. And it's not because, for whatever our reasons are, I'm not gonna sit here to make an excuse, but at the same time, it's beautiful that it feels more natural in this time that we're deliberately checking each other, like, yo, you good, like, making your little social distancing jokes, like you staying, COVID free, and that can matriculate into something else, a bigger conversation, and you really taking that time out to check on your loved ones and not letting life come at you so fast that it's always an excuse why you didn't do this, why you haven't done that. So yeah, make time for what matters. Make time for the things that really will help you out. You know what I'm saying? Really will make a difference. A lot of the time we get so caught up in just capitalism. I need to make $1 today. I need to, I got bills to pay. I got rent to pay. You know what I'm saying? Like, what outside of that, what matters? What is it that you should be deliberately doing to help edify yourself? What should you really be doing to show the ones you care about, hey, I care about you. Thank you for being in my life. Another thing this whole thing has made me realize we need to be deliberate about and intentional about in this silence is our overall health. The main concern of mine as I look at this whole corona thing is that a lot of us are living with illnesses and issues already. So that's what makes this corona thing, it makes it, that much more scarier, because it's killing those who really have pre-existing conditions. Gotta slow down. And a lot of that stuff is, outside of the stuff that you can't control, outside of old age, and hey, if you have asthma, you have asthma, right? Stuff like that. You can't really say, oh, eat better and do this and you'll be fine, or stuff like that. You could just manage it, right? And there are ways to manage it. There are ways to do better and to keep yourself as healthy as you can. But the stuff that we can control, we gotta do better. And back to the cooking and the stuff that we eat and ingest, taking our vitamins and exercising. Another thing I've seen since this whole corona thing, I have not seen this many people outside walking in my life. And I live in a neighborhood of, if I'm to make a joke, like Caucasians love to walk, right? This is their thing. But usually it's on a treadmill. Some of them need to get outside. I get it. But for the most part, you give me a treadmill, you give me a basketball, a gym, you give me a little stuff like that, I'm good. During this springtime and that kind of stuff, I try to stay inside, because since I moved to Georgia, pollen has become like a real enemy of mine. I'm saying, like, me and pollen to fight. You probably could hear a little bit of sinusy type of vibes right now. It's because, I have to go outside real quick to the supermarket, and it's this pollen is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So all of that to say, let's be deliberate about our health. And health is just not physical. Health is mental. And that's the big umbrella, right? If your mind's not right, your body's not right, and then nothing's right. So you have to start there. Mental health is it's imperative that we have someone to talk to. It's imperative that we do the self work. It's imperative that we, get the therapy that we need. It's imperative that we slow down and block out some of that noise. Because I know for me, like, I have anxiety. And I don't know if I've been public about this, but, people close to me know. I've talked about it. But for me, my anxiety gets the worst when it's noisy in my head. When I have this gazillion things to do and I feel like, oh my God, like I am already thinking like, 10 things down the line. No, one thing at a time. You got to protect your mental. And I'm trying to be more deliberate about, one, saying no. Hey, man, thank you for the opportunity, but no, I cannot add anything else on my plate. Or breaking things down so that it doesn't seem like you don't have to see the whole picture and it just looks like this big piece that needs to be cut it up. Divide it as much as you can, and don't work last minute. That's one thing I used to do all the time. You wait, you procrastinate, and by the time you recognize it, now you have a deadline that's looming, and you knew you had the deadline, but you waited last minute. And it's something like, as I grew up, I kind of worked myself into saying that I work better under pressure. That's bullshit. That's BS. That's something that we created to make as an excuse. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to work under. You might come out with a good product, pressure makes diamonds. I get it. But at the same time, don't do that to yourself, because you are putting yourself under intense and tremendous stress. Let's see. So we talked about starting our mornings. We talked about what matters. We talked about overall health, mental and physical. With the mental and physical, and especially the mental, find ways to become more in tune with yourself. Introspectiveness is a very underrated quality that a lot of us need to continue to work on. You shouldn't have things that you know about that can be held against you or used against you. Why? And when I say used against you, somebody shouldn't be able to come and tell Kim, like, yo, Kim, let's see, you have a sneaker habit problem. Okay, well, thank you for pointing out the obvious, but I know, right? Because if I'm being honest with myself, I could say, as I look at about, I'm outing myself now, but as I look at about 7 pairs of sneakers right here in my living room, you shouldn't be able to have, people shouldn't be able to use use your faults and stuff like that against you. You should know. You should be in tune with yourself enough to say, hey, I have an issue, I have a problem, and work towards doing what you can to getting better with it, but 2, owning it so that it can't be weaponized against you. So in this slow and COVID time, work on becoming more in tune with yourself. Be proud of who you are, and if there are parts of you that you're not proud of, do the work to make sure that you can be better. We all have flaws. That's not a Chem thing. That's not a you thing who's listening. We all have flaws. We're imperfect. So why not find ways to become more in tune with yourselves? Use your strengths. Use your weaknesses. And even the weaknesses, find ways to work on the weaknesses, but don't let it be held against you. It's a different time, back in our parents' time and that kind of stuff. They didn't want to talk. It's a lot of hush type of thing, right? And as I'm growing older, I recognize like talking helps. And addressing things that are addressing the elephants in the room help. But if you leave the elephant in the room and it develops and it gets bigger and bigger and grows, years later, it's going to come back to bite you. And that's something like I wish I honestly understood a little earlier in life. But hey, everything in time. If you do some of these things during this time, I think it will help you become a better version of yourself once it's all over. Because it's habit. It's something that you have to deliberately do and want to do so that you become better. And I'm no doctor. I'm no, shit. Don't take it from Kim, but at the same time, try something different in this time. Make an effort to be deliberate about being better in this time. And being better doesn't have to be once again, we're not talking about, I didn't talk about anything financial. I didn't talk about anything capitalistic. I didn't talk about anything entrepreneur related. I didn't talk about none of that. I'm just talking about stuff that we can control during this time so that once COVID-19 is over, we have some things that we can build on. And that's important, man. So that's all I have to talk to y'all about today. I want to just say a huge thank you to all the people on the front lines doing the work just to keep us safe, doing the work to get people healthy, the grocery store workers, medical teams, all the pharmacists, pharmacies, cooks, custodians, the people who should be getting their roses anyway. Thank you for all that you do. And as a people, let's make sure that after this is over, we don't go back to shitting on them or looking at them as lesser than. No. Our economy, our society are built on the backs of these people. And I don't care how much money you have, you can get sick. And then you still gonna have to go to the hospital. And as you can see, right, the corona has touched everybody, rich, poor, strong, weak, it doesn't matter. Male, female, it doesn't matter. Like, whoever you are, be appreciative of those who do the lesser than, in society's eyes, the less than popular, less than glorious jobs. We're all in this together. It's literally the biggest message that we've learned from this. We're all in this together. And if we were to treat everybody with respect, and if we were to give every jack their jacket, and if we were to uphold each other and stand on the shoulders of each other, the world would be a better place. Y'all take care, man. Peace. Yo, man, thanks for tuning into my podcast. Please don't forget to review, rate, and share. That would help me out a lot, and it helps get the platform bigger and better. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at FlyYoungIntellectual, at FlyYoungIntellectual. Hit me on Twitter at Mr. MISTER_FYI. Connect with me, man. 2020, we're doing bigger and better things. If you really like the platform, tell somebody about it, man. Until next time, peace.